Well, thanks to everybody for being here. And before I open up to questions, let me just say, again, as you look at the group here assembled, we have the two bishops representing the faith-based organizations which do so much for charity care in the state. They will continue to do charity care for many individuals and families throughout the state of Utah. And we applaud their efforts and encourage them to continue to do what they can. We have business leaders here who, in fact, are paying the taxes and represent those who, in fact, work hard and then send a certain portion to the state of Utah and a portion back to Washington, D.C. Some of it in the form of new taxes, $680 million of new taxes they're paying under the Affordable Care Act. As Lane has so appropriately said, the opportunity for us to take back about $446 million of those dollars and spend them the way we think in Utah is a more appropriate way is an important principle and a concept to understand here today. I appreciate those business communities that are here. We also have health care providers who, in fact, are doing many things to help us, as Dr. Lee has talked about. We are the healthiest state in America with health care. And at the lowest cost. We're doing some things very appropriately so here. Again, it underscores the fact of the matter is that we don't need and should not have a one-size-fits-all solution out of Utah, out of Washington, D.C. Utah is doing a pretty good job. But we have, in fact, been given this dilemma of taking taxes away, and we have the opportunity to spend them in a more appropriate way. We appreciate the private sector that's stepping up and helping, again, provide charitable care and helping us find a better way to do things. So last but not least, this really is going to be a partnership effort. This is not the end today. This is really the launch. This is the beginning. I look forward to working with all stakeholders that have an interest in this. I'm happy to talk to the pro and the con. And if there's issues out there that need to be discussed and debated, let's put them on the table and see if we can answer the questions and give you maybe some peace of mind as far as this is really going to be a good step forward. I would hope that we don't, again, let perfect be the enemy of good. I tell you up front, I did not get all I wanted to get out of the Obama administration, the Department of Health, of what I thought we needed to have here in the state of Utah. We won't be as good as if we could just build from the ground floor up. But it is a good proposal, and it's better than anything else I've seen out there. And so I'm anxious to have that discussion, that dialogue with our legislature as partners as we work with the House and the Senate and work together as elected officials to solve this challenging problem and respecting the taxpayers' dollars and really help those who are vulnerable amongst us in our society. This is a good approach. This is a good plan called the Healthy Utah Plan, which we encourage people to look at, understand it, and be engaged as we work together to find the solution. So with that, we'll take a few minutes for some questions. So, Glenn?
On the lines of your dialogue with the legislature now, have you noticed any difference with the change of leadership in speaker views as opposed to the dialogue you had with the previous speaker and her constant refusal on federal funding, accepting that?
Well, I don't want to comment on a contrasting basis. They both, like any other elected official, we all have our own personalities and perspective, and we have a new set of eyes and ears with Speaker Hughes. I've known the Speaker-elect Hughes for a long time. I look forward to working with him, and I think we'll have productive conversation. I had productive conversation with Speaker Lockhart. So. Again, this is a new day. It's what we've been waiting for a year and a half. It's being rolled out today. So this is really a new beginning.
You said you didn't get everything that you were asking for from the federal government. What did you not get?
Well, there's a number of things I think we could have done better. Again, working with the Department of Health, I think there was a realization of maybe more of a mandate of a stick approach on the work effort, the work requirement. And I think we could have done better there. We've got to, if you needed to get to 100%, we're probably at 95. There's some things we could have done better. I think the co-pays, the premium assistance, we could have maybe had a little bit more skin in the game for the recipients and encourage them to take more responsibility for their own health care. But most things in life are compromise. And we've got a pretty good compromise to build upon here. And again, with the help of the legislature, it could be nuanced a little bit here and there. But we are clearly on the right path. Other states are watching Utah to see what happens. They like this kind of innovative new approach that we've created here in Utah that really has not been done any place else, at least to the extent that we've got it here today.
The number of people in the gap is significantly higher, according to the new numbers this week, maybe 40% higher than you thought from the last study. Isn't that going to make it a lot harder to get approved by the legislature? Tri-state just went way up.
Well, I think that the legislature are practical people, and I call myself a common sense conservative, and I think that we find that most people upstairs would fall in that same category of common sense conservatives. We don't want to do something now that we cannot afford later. It really, the sustainability of this is really a major concern for me and for members of the legislature. We'll have to take a look at that and see what we need to do to deal with it and make sure that we're not doing something we cannot continue with because we can't afford it. Medicaid, the program itself, has been increasingly expensive. If we don't do anything, there's going to be increasing costs. That just is kind of given under the program. The hope is what we're doing is going to slow down the increasing costs of health care and maybe reduce them. I mean, that would be a nice goal. And if we could do that as a state, I think we could do it. We have the strings that come along with the Affordable Care Act that inhibits our ability to be as innovative and as creative as we can do. As Dr. Lee has shown, up to this point, we've done really well as being the highest quality health care at the lowest cost in America. Our system really isn't broken. We have less people that are not insured. The national average is 15%. We're at 13%. And half of those could afford it if they would get it. So we need to come up with a rational approach. This is a work in progress from the standpoint of the numbers. That's why we wanted to have the most accurate numbers possible. We're not trying to hide the P. We're not trying to spin it in a more favorable way. This is reality. Let's deal with reality and find a solution, and I expect that the legislature wants that same thing. Together, we will find the right outcome.
Why not the higher numbers actually argue for your point, because you get a higher match from the feds by covering them?
There's a little more expense involved with the new numbers. There's where we thought it was 50-50 of those below poverty and those up to 138% of poverty. It's now about 2 to 1, about 2/3 we find there's more people in the below poverty range as we get more accurate numbers. We're going to continue to monitor that. That's something that needs to be discussed. I expect that between us and the governor's office and our Department of Health and the legislature, we've got to come together on consensus numbers, just like we do for the budget, so that we're all working off the same page and the same numbers as we work together on a solution. But you're right, it's a little more expensive, but the drawdown we get, as we found, is significantly higher of the $680 million. So there's good news and bad news, I guess, in the new numbers. But the important thing for us is to have numbers that we believe are accurate. That's why that's a pilot program, because some of this is speculation. It's still speculation. We don't know. We get bits and pieces. We've had an independent study that's given us the numbers we have today, but we're going to continue to study this through this 3 years of this pilot program so that we update those numbers, and ultimately we're going to have to make the tough decision. Are we on the right road? Does it work as we think it will work? Do we need to make some modifications, some improvements? Do we need to get out? Do we need to fall back to some other position? Those are the tough decisions we'll have to make, but we'll make that based on good data. And our Department of Health is going to make sure we have good data over the next 3 years to make those tough decisions.
Governor, this morning the Health Reform Task Force presented some other options that lawmakers are considering. How flexible are you? Would you be open to supporting something else that's
I want to solve the problem. And I think that should be the goal of everybody. And if somebody's got a better idea than the Healthy Utah plan, I'm more than happy to listen to it. I've studied this for a year and a half. We've had a lot of different proposals that have come to us from different task force, our annual health care summit. We've had a lot of discussion, debate that's brought us to this point. We've spent a lot more time on this than has the legislature. This is kind of a new start for them and trying to analyze, and they've got some thoughts and ideas, and I'm happy to listen to them. But the best proposal I know of on planet Earth under the Affordable Care Act in behalf of the state of Utah is the Healthy Utah Plan. Is it perfect? No. Are we willing to make some adjustments if there's better things to do and add and amend? Happy to talk about those things, and I expect that'll be part of the give and take as we work through the legislature. But I don't know of a better plan than what we have presented here today.
Are you confident you can get it worked through this session?
I am confident we can, and I believe it's an absolute necessity. We come up with something at the end of this legislative session. We've had the chance, and I think it's been wise, by the way, for us to wait, be thorough, to really ponder on the numbers and the impacts as we see the fluctuation and some of the uncertainty that's happened over the last couple of years. We're getting to the point where there is more certainty, more predictability, and the numbers are more precise. That helps us get the right policy in place, not only for today, but for tomorrow. So I think we're to the point of making the ultimate decision as far as what path we go down, and I'm confident we'll have something in place by the end of this legislative session in 2015.
We have time for one more.
Yeah, how easy is it going to be to get HHS to renegotiate if the legislature comes up with a dramatically different plan? For instance, only covering up to the poverty line.
Well, it has not been easy to get to where we're at today. So we've been told, and I believe it to be true, from the Department of Health and Human Services with Sylvia Burwell now, and originally with Kathleen Sebelius, we've been given the most flexibility of any state in America. We've tried to get to the point as close as we can to a block grant, give us the money, and we'll devise our own program. That's kind of a Republican approach. The Democrats are willing to talk in terms of not block grant, but in terms of maximum flexibility. So we've had to marry those two ideas together, which has gotten us to where we are at today. And, again, we have a good working relationship. This will be kind of an ongoing concurrent work as we draw up the contracts with the HHS and the agreements we have. We have flexibility, and clearly we have the ability to get out at any time. If we don't like what's happening, if the federal government doesn't keep up their part of the bargain, we can get out tomorrow, next year, 5 years from now. But those are all going to be drawn up in the contract, and as we work with the legislature, if there's any nuances, we'll be doing that probably concurrently, so I don't expect it to be a problem. Well, thanks to one and all. We appreciate you being here. This will be an exciting time, and we're looking forward to working with the legislature in this upcoming session for the good of the people of Utah. Thank you very much.